Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep on NVIDIA.
NVIDIA.
I think most folks know them for their gaming GPUs,
Right.
but, there's so much more than that now with all this AI stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So we're going to unpack all that and figure out just how NVIDIA makes money,
Okay.
what their costs are and what really makes them stand out in the tech world.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they've been able to accomplish. I mean, they really have transformed
Yeah.
into, I would say, a full stack computing infrastructure company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, you think about like a car, right?
Mhm.
It's not just building the engine, but they're building the whole car.
Oh, okay.
Like the transmission, the
Wow.
navigation system, even the roads.
Okay.
That's kind of the approach they're taking.
So it's not just about the hardware.
Right.
The GPUs themselves, they're building a whole ecosystem.
Exactly, yeah. So around those GPUs, they have, for instance, the CUDA programming model.
Oh.
So you can think of that as a specialized language for developers to tap into the power of those GPUs.
And that's for not just graphics, I'm assuming?
Not just graphics, no, all sorts of applications.
Interesting.
And then on top of that, they have like hundreds of software libraries and tools.
Wow.
So they're really making it easier for developers to work with their platform.
Okay, so they've got the hardware, they got the software, the whole package.
The whole 9 yards, yeah.
So how do they actually turn that into revenue, though? What are their main business segments?
So they have two main segments.
Okay.
The first one, and their largest, is what they call compute and networking.
Okay.
And this is where you'll find their data center platforms, which are basically supercomputers
Wow.
that are being used to train these massive AI models that you hear about all the time.
Right.
They also have networking solutions for high-performance computing, platforms for self-driving cars, even robotics. So it's really about using the power of their GPUs for all these like heavy-duty computing tasks.
So that's where they're pushing the boundaries, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Going way beyond gaming. What about the second segment?
The second segment is graphics,
Okay.
which is what they're traditionally known for.
Right, that's the GeForce, right.
Exactly, yeah. So those gaming GPUs that I think have made them a household name
Yeah, for sure.
among gamers.
But you said earlier the lines are blurring between those two segments, right? How so?
Well, what's really fascinating is that even those gaming GPUs
Yeah.
are now finding their way into data centers
Oh, really?
because it turns out they're also pretty good at powering some of these AI applications.
Interesting.
So their graphics segment is actually contributing to their compute and networking business.
Oh, wow. So the gaming GPUs are being used in these data centers for AI.
Yeah,
Okay.
with some cases, yeah.
So they got these two segments, right? Compute and networking, graphics.
Yeah.
And both are bringing in, I'm assuming, big revenue.
Right.
But how does that revenue actually flow?
So most of it comes from direct product sales,
Okay.
which is everything from the GPUs themselves, motherboards, systems, and the software packages that go with them.
Okay. That's straightforward. People buying their products.
Right.
I'm guessing that's not the only way they make money, though, right?
No, they have other ways.
Okay.
So, for instance, licensing agreements,
Okay.
where they allow other companies to use their technology.
Okay.
So, embedding NVIDIA GPUs and their software into other products and services.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah, sure. So, think about like the cloud service providers, like Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure.
Right.
They use NVIDIA's GPUs to power a lot of their cloud-based AI
Right.
and high-performance computing offerings.
Oh.
So in a way, NVIDIA is kind of powering indirectly
Right.
a lot of the cloud services that we use every day.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's like they're kind of behind the scenes powering all this technology.
Exactly.
Wow.
And they're also licensing their tech to automotive companies developing self-driving car systems.
Oh, okay.
So you have the NVIDIA Drive platform, which is kind of the brains of those autonomous vehicles.
So they're not just in data centers, they're in our cars too.
Yeah,
Wow, this is crazy. They're everywhere.
they're pretty ubiquitous.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about costs, though, right? Because they're this massive operation.
Sure.
What are some of their biggest expenses?
I mean, as you might expect, for a tech company that's always innovating,
Yeah,
a big cost driver is research and development.
makes sense.
They're really investing heavily to stay ahead in this very competitive market.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that, 83% of their workforce is technical,
Wow.
and almost half of them have advanced degrees.
Wow, that's a lot of brain power.
Yeah, it's a very smart workforce.
Wow, okay. So you got a super talented team. What are some of the other costs?
Well, another major expense is building and maintaining a global sales and marketing team
Okay, yeah.
because, reaching customers in all these different sectors,
Right.
from gamers to data center operators to automotive companies, that takes a lot of resources.
It does, yeah.
And then, of course, you have the cost of manufacturing,
Okay.
which sourcing all those high-tech components for the GPUs, for
Right.
networking equipment, that's not cheap.
No.
So yeah, that's another big cost factor for them.
So we're starting to get the picture here, right? And NVIDIA's got all these major revenue streams coming in,
Yeah,
but also some pretty significant costs to maintain this, front-running position in tech.
absolutely.
So let's dive a little deeper into what really sets them apart then.
Okay.
What's their unique value proposition?
Sure.
What do customers get from NVIDIA
Right.
that they can't get anywhere else?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say one of the biggest things is that they offer this unique combination of performance and efficiency. So their accelerated computing platform, can handle these incredibly demanding tasks
Okay.
much faster and using less energy than traditional approaches.
Oh,
So you're kind of getting more bang for your buck, but in a
Okay.
sustainable way.
That's really compelling, especially with energy costs going up and up and up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's not just about performance, though, right?
No, it's not just about performance. Their platforms are also highly scalable,
Okay.
which means they can work for everything from a small embedded system like
Okay.
you might find in a robot to a massive data center powering all these crazy AI applications.
Wow.
So that flexibility is really attractive to a wide range of customers.
So we've got something for everybody,
Yeah,
from the little startup to the giant tech company.
exactly.
What about the software? Does that help differentiate them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about CUDA earlier, the
Yeah.
programming model. Well, that's really a key part of making NVIDIA's platform so accessible to developers.
Okay.
It allows them to use familiar programming languages
Wow.
and still harness the power of the GPUs. And then they have this vast library of software tools
Mhm.
and SDKs, which are basically like pre-built components
Okay.
that developers can use to build applications faster.
So they're making it easier for developers to use this really powerful hardware.
Exactly.
So it's not just about having, the most powerful chips, but making them usable.
Right. They're offering a complete solution.
Yeah, okay.
Not just, pieces of a puzzle.
Right.
Here are all the pieces.
So we talked about their value proposition,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, how does that translate into actual activities?
Yeah.
What are like their most critical operational activities that they focus on to actually deliver on all these promises?
So first and foremost, I think it's safe to say that they are obsessed with innovation.
Okay.
They know that to stay ahead in this industry, they have to constantly push the boundaries of what's possible
Right.
with GPUs and AI. So a huge amount of their resources goes into research and development.
Makes sense.
Exploring new architectures, algorithms, new applications.
So they're not just resting on what they've already achieved.
No, they're not resting on their laurels at all. They're always looking ahead.
Right.
And that brings us to another critical activity, supply chain management.
Okay.
NVIDIA's products rely on all these complex components
Mm-hmm.
that are in high demand globally.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to source those components reliably,
Right.
efficiently, while also navigating, all the complexities of global trade
That's a lot.
and manufacturing. It's a lot to manage.
Especially with all the supply chain disruptions we've seen.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a constant juggling act, but they've been very strategic about it.
Okay.
They've diversified their suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
They've secured long-term agreements.
Smart move. Smart move. So innovating, managing that supply chain. What else is crucial?
Talent. At the end of the day,
Right.
this industry, it comes down to the people.
Right.
NVIDIA needs to attract and retain, the best and brightest minds
Mm-hmm.
in engineering, AI, software development.
Right.
And they've done a great job of building a strong company culture
Okay.
that really values innovation, collaboration, and continuous learning.
And, I think you mentioned it earlier, their workforce is super technical.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
advanced degrees, right?
And they have a remarkably low employee turnover rate,
Oh, wow.
which is a great sign.
Yeah.
It means people are happy there.
Right. And they want to stay.
Exactly. It's a healthy work environment.
Yeah. So they're attracting top talent and they're keeping them.
They're doing something right.
That's awesome. So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We looked at revenue streams,
Yeah.
costs, value proposition,
Right.
differentiation, all these critical operations.
Yeah.
It's clear that they've built this super successful and resilient business.
Yeah. They're a force to be reckoned with.
But with that rapid growth and all this increasing influence
Mm-hmm.
comes a whole new set of challenges, I'm assuming.
For sure.
Like, how will they handle all these government regulations that are coming up, especially with AI?
Yeah.
And how will they adapt as new trends emerge?
Right. Those are great questions. And I think, honestly, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But what we can say for sure is that the future of accelerated computing, it's full of possibilities.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA is definitely well positioned to play a leading role.
I totally agree. We've really only scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
But hopefully you folks listening have a better understanding now of what makes NVIDIA tick.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll even want to go learn a little bit more about this whole world of accelerated computing.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into NVIDIA.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's like you're getting more computational power for your money and you're reducing your energy bill at the same time.
Okay, yeah. More bang for your buck, but in a sustainable way.
Right.
Yeah, I can see how that would be compelling for businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not just about performance, though, right?
No, it's not just about performance.
What else sets them apart?
Well, their platforms are also, I guess you could say, highly scalable, meaning they can work for, a small embedded system,
Okay.
like you might find in a robot,
Right.
all the way up to a massive data center powering all these AI applications.
So they've got a wide range.
Yeah, so that flexibility
Okay.
really makes them attractive to a lot of different customers.
So they really do have something for everybody.
Yeah.
From the tiny startup
Right.
to the giant tech company.
Exactly.
So what about the software side? Does that help differentiate them too?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember we were talking about CUD earlier?
Yeah, the programming model.
The programming model, that's really a key part of making NVIDIA's platform.
Mm-hmm.
So accessible and developer friendly.
Okay.
It basically allows developers to use these familiar programming languages to harness all that power of the GPUs.
That makes sense.
And then on top of that, they have this really vast library of software tools
Okay.
and SDKs. So basically pre-built components that developers can use to build applications faster.
So they're making it easy to actually use this powerful hardware.
Exactly. So it's not just about having the most powerful chips, it's about making them usable.
Right.
So they're offering, a complete solution.
A complete solution.
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about their value proposition.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how that translates into actual activities.
Okay.
Like, what are the most critical operational activities that they focus on to deliver on all these promises to their customers?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's safe to say that they are obsessed with innovation.
Okay, that makes sense.
They know that to stay ahead in this industry, you have to constantly push the boundaries.
Yeah, it moves so fast.
It moves so fast. You have to push the boundaries of what's possible with GPUs and AI.
Yeah.
So a huge amount of their resources really go into research and development.
Makes sense.
Exploring new architectures, new algorithms, new applications.
So they're constantly looking ahead.
Yeah, they're not resting on their laurels at all. They're always looking to the future.
They always want to see what's next.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of brings us to another critical activity, which is supply chain management.
Right.
NVIDIA's products, they rely on all these really complex components that are in high demand globally.
Right.
So they really have to be able to source those components reliably, efficiently, while also navigating all the complexities of global trade and manufacturing.
Right. That sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot to manage. It's a constant juggling act.
Yeah.
But they've been very strategic about it. So they've, diversified their suppliers. They've secured long-term agreements.
Smart move, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So innovating, managing that supply chain.
Yeah.
What else is kind of super crucial for them?
I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to talent.
Right. The people.
This industry, it really is all about the people.
Yeah, it's the people that make it happen.
Right. So, NVIDIA, they need to attract and retain, the best and brightest minds in engineering, AI, software development.
Right.
And they've done, I think, a really great job of building this strong company culture that values, innovation, collaboration, continuous learning.
That's really important, yeah. And like you said, their workforce is super technical.
Yeah.
Lots of people with advanced degrees.
They have a remarkably low employee turnover rate.
Oh, wow, that's a great sign.
Which is a really good sign.
People want to work there.
Yeah. means people are happy working there.
Right. Exactly.
It seems like a pretty healthy work environment.
Yeah. So they're attracting top talent and they're keeping them.
Yeah, they're doing something right.
That's awesome. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Wait.
Revenue streams, costs, value proposition, differentiation, all these critical operations.
Yeah,
It's clear they've built, a really successful and resilient business.
absolutely. I mean, they're a force to be reckoned with,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
But with that rapid growth and, all this increasing influence comes, I'm assuming, a new set of challenges.
Oh, for sure.
Like, how are they going to handle, these government regulations,
Yeah,
especially around AI?
right.
And how are they going to adapt as these new trends emerge, right?
Those are great questions. And I think, honestly, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But, what we can say for sure is that the future of accelerated computing, it's full of possibilities.
For sure.
And I think NVIDIA is really well positioned to play a leading role.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we've only scratched the surface here. But hopefully you folks listening have, a better understanding now of what makes NVIDIA tick.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating company.
Yeah. And maybe it'll even spark some curiosity to learn more about this whole world of accelerated computing.
It's a pretty amazing field.
It really is, yeah. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into NVIDIA.
My pleasure.
We've talked about, all this incredible growth at NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Their position really at the forefront of like AI and accelerated computing.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, what are some of the challenges they might face
Right.
moving forward? What could disrupt their success?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges, and this is true for really any company in the AI space,
Yeah.
is just this kind of evolving landscape of government regulations.
Right.
As AI becomes more powerful, more pervasive,
Yeah.
there are, growing concerns about ethical implications,
Right.
data privacy,
Yeah.
potential misuse.
For sure. I mean, we've already seen calls for, more regulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in areas like, facial recognition or autonomous weapons.
Yeah, exactly. And those regulations could have a real impact on NVIDIA's business.
Right.
I mean, for example, restrictions on the export of certain AI chips
Yeah.
could limit their access to certain key markets.
So navigating all that's going to be crucial for their growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. What other challenges do they face?
Well, competition's always a factor in the tech world.
Right.
While NVIDIA currently has, I think it's fair to say, a dominant position,
Yeah.
there are other players emerging in the accelerated computing space.
Okay. Are there any specific companies we should be watching?
Yeah, I mean, Intel is making a big push into the GPU market.
Okay.
And they have, a lot of resources, a lot of expertise.
Right.
And then there's, a number of startups developing
Yeah.
new AI chips that could potentially challenge NVIDIA.
So they can't just get complacent.
No.
They got to keep innovating.
They got to keep innovating, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another challenge I think they face is just managing their growth.
Okay.
I mean, they've expanded so rapidly in recent years.
Right.
And that kind of growth, it can put a strain on company culture and operations.
How so?
Well, as a company gets bigger, it
Yeah.
can become more bureaucratic,
Right.
less agile.
Right. Yeah. Decision-making slows down.
Decision-making slows down. Innovation can suffer.
Yeah.
It's a classic challenge, really,
It is. Yeah.
for successful companies.
Yeah. So they got to maintain that kind of entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, that startup mentality.
Yeah, exactly. As they grow, which is tough.
It's tough, yeah.
And finally, I guess, they got to keep an eye on these emerging trends, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The tech world changes so fast.
It changes so fast.
What's hot today is gone tomorrow.
Exactly. What's hot today is obsolete tomorrow.
Yeah. What are some of those trends that could, impact NVIDIA?
Well, I think a big one is quantum computing.
Okay, yeah.
It's still pretty early days,
Right.
but it has the potential to just revolutionize computing
Yeah.
as we know it. And, if quantum computers actually become
Mhm.
commercially viable,
Yeah.
it could disrupt the entire semiconductor industry.
Including NVIDIA.
Yeah, including NVIDIA.
Wow. Okay. So they got to be ready for, a major tech shift.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they got to be thinking about, I guess, the bigger impact of their technology, right?
Yeah, I mean, AI is already having a huge impact on our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and that's only going to grow
That's true, yeah.
in the coming years.
So it's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's a lot of responsibility, but I think NVIDIA is aware of that.
Yeah.
And I think they're committed to,
Right.
using their technology for good.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here in this deep dive.
We have.
We explored NVIDIA's rise,
Yeah.
their business model, their operations.
Yeah.
We even looked ahead at, potential challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
And hopefully our listeners,
Yeah,
have gained a deeper understanding
I hope so.
of this company and this really transformative technology.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of NVIDIA.
My pleasure.
Until next time.